Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, once again to Staying Up with Pat and Jodi. We are coming to you live, well, it's not live when they hear it, but from our beautiful penthouse studios of Sight and Sound Events here in Las Vegas, Nevada, overlooking the Las Vegas Strip, although we can't see it from this room.
No, we can't.
But if we walk out the door, I can look straight out into the Strip.
Yes.
How much better does that get?
Great view, man. Great.
I'm telling you.
He loves it.
For the fireworks at New Year's and 4th of July, this is the place to hang out.
This is a place
right
to
here.
We've had many a party. So I am Jodi Harris, CEO of Fun.
Because some of you might have been thinking I was Jodi, but I'm not. She's Jodi. I'm Pat. I have no idea who this guy is. He came in, snuck in the side door, put his headphones on. He looked friendly enough. We liked his accent, and we said, "Come on in, have a seat. Why not?"
Come on.
We're just like that.
No, our special guest is.
He is a special guest?
He is a special guest. He's a legend.
He's a legend.
In his own mind.
There you go.
There you go.
It is the executive, the new executive vice president of the Cauliflower Alley Club, Mr. Morgan Dollar.
Thank you, Jodi. I really appreciate being here. I really do.
Well, we appreciate you coming on. This is great. This is we had a very successful event the last few days at Cauliflower Alley Club. Yeah, it was amazing. How are things over there? Are there still? You said you might have to leave early, or
yeah, this interview might be a little short because I may have to get back over to the Gold Coast. I want to see Jerry Briscoe's closing.
Oh, it's still going on.
It's still going on.
Yeah.
The people that was there watching this will understand that.
Thumbs up.
No doubt.
Our Jerry, who's engineering for us today, he was there and he heard the speech and he had his little timer on and it was still going. Yeah. So it was still going.
Well, and I think this, and we talked about this. There's a reason why at the Academy Awards and everything else, why they have the music and they cut. Because if you don't, people who have been in front of a camera their whole lives and who are used to that platform, when they get there, they ain't gonna shut up. If you don't kick them off, they ain't gonna shut up for a long time.
I've been in the business over 20 years, in the professional wrestling business. And I realized real quick, Jimmy Valiant got me in the business, and he told me, if you're ever doing interviews, if anybody's interviewing you, never give them the mic.
Yeah.
Never give. You can cut them off if you've got the mic in your hand.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Yes.
Absolutely.
If you hand somebody the mic, you got
over.
problems. It's over.
Yeah. That happened quite a few times last night.
Did.
But you know what? It was a great event. Lots of money was raised for the Cauliflower Alley Club. And for those of you who are staying up with Pat and Jodi listeners and you're not familiar with the Cauliflower Alley Club,
shame on you.
Exactly. It's $25 to become a member. That's it. That's an inside. If you were there, it's an inside joke. You know exactly what we're talking about.
Just pay your membership.
Pay your damn membership.
That's like $2 and some pennies a month. That's
exactly.
But Morgan, kind of explain, what the Cauliflower Alley Club is. We're going to talk about staying up with Pat and Jodi stuff, but just because there are people who are not familiar with it. I even have friends that are wrestling friends. They've never heard of it.
Right. It's a 50c3 nonprofit organization. We raise money for the older wrestlers because, as both of you know, the older wrestlers was not under contract like they are today. The big money wasn't made years ago. When they worked a show tonight, they got paid cash money. They got in their car, drove to the next town, got cash money. And you know yourself, cash money in your pocket's not saving money.
Burns a hole.
It does. So now they're living off Social Security. If something, medical condition happens, anything, as long as it's legit, we don't just give money out.
Right.
They've got to go through a process. But once we find out they need help, we help them.
That's great.
And that's what got me into the CAC is the benevolent side of the organization. It's just to be able to help somebody, our heroes that we used to.
And we're talking about legends from going back as far as maybe the 50s or 60s, right? I mean, we're not going to, obviously, it's very private. No one's name is ever mentioned because they're prideful people.
Exactly.
You don't want your dirty, just like any of us, we wouldn't want our dirty laundry. Oh, so-and-so owes $40,000 to this or that. It's very private. It's very professional.
Right.
Only the executive board of directors know who the money goes to, and they are sworn to secrecy or just professionalism.
We really are.
Yeah.
And it's like either one of you. If people might think you're making millions.
Right.
And really, you're making billions. But
Yeah.
people might think you're making millions. And if you fall on hard times and in the business and we help you out and it gets out in the public, you're humiliated.
Yes.
You're embarrassed.
Yes.
So we never, now a lot of people do actually, they make it public knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
They're proud and honored that the CAC found out I had health issues and needed some help. So several people actually do make it public knowledge.
Oh, but that's their
But
prerogative.
that's their choice.
Right.
If they want to do it, they can. If they don't want to, that's totally great with us. We
Right.
have no problem.
Right. And 50 years the Cauliflower Alley Club has been in existence. 50 years. Once a year we meet.
It started at the spaghetti factory in California.
You remember that on Sunset Boulevard, Hollywood Boulevard, I think.
That's
yeah.
exactly where it started. And the Queen Mary ship,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was they
Long
had
Beach.
They had the banquet there.
Wow.
And when it originally started, it was started because when a wrestling show would come to town, Mike Mazurki would get the boys together before the show and take them out to eat. And it was just the boys and girls of the business. And as it grew and grew, and they moved it to Vegas, I believe it was Luth. I don't know if it was Luthez.
It was. It was Luthez who moved it to Vegas because one of our first experiences at Cauliflower Alley was Lou's last Cauliflower Alley.
Okay.
That's how far back
Yeah.
we
Right.
go.
And that's when they opened it up to fans, true dedicated
wow.
fans, not the fans that bring 50 figurines and want you to sign them.
Yeah.
You know, and that's when they opened it up to the fans. It's predominantly the boys and the girls of the club.
Mm-hmm.
And we come to Vegas once a year, love it at the Gold Coast. We have great working relationship with them. They are great people to work with. And we just have fun. It was over Wednesday night. I'm here till Monday, so
Oh, nice.
so I'm getting to play.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
I'm getting to play.
That's kind of the only way that we ever seem to get time off is we go somewhere for work and then we're like, well, let's just stay a couple extra days.
Right.
And that'll be like our vacation.
Yes.
You go for work and you just pay for a couple extra nights
Exactly.
Yes.
hotel and you enjoy the city. Because otherwise you go into these fabulous cities and the only thing you see is the airport and the hotel.
And that's the life of a professional wrestler.
Yeah.
You know, you get to travel all over the country, overseas, but you go from the airport to the motel to the arena, and then backtrack the same way. Get on the plane, usually a red eye, fly out, go to the next town.
Mm-hmm.
So the professional wrestling persona, everybody thinks, oh man, it's great to travel all over the world. You see it from the sky.
Yes, and
Yeah.
you still have to get in your workout time. Because
Exactly.
just like in any job, I mean, your job as a professional wrestler is to look the part. So you got to
Right.
be fit. So you got to squeeze in, time to work out. And
Well, if you look at some of the guys now, the dedicated ones like John Cena, no matter what you think of him as a wrestler, extremely dedicated. Randy Orton, guys that if they have that extra 10 minutes, they're using it to exercise. They're finding ways to eat right. Think of how hard it is for the normal person to eat healthy. They have to eat healthy constantly.
That's right.
They got to be able to exercise in times when we would be like, I don't even have time to go to the bathroom. How am I getting in a workout? But they figure it out.
Exactly. And even at arenas, most people don't realize the arenas is cold.
Yeah.
They're cold because that's just the way arenas are. And if your body, before you go out from the curtain, if your body is not warmed up,
You're getting hurt.
You're getting hurt real
Wow.
quick. You're going to have muscle cramps. You're going to get injured.
Yeah.
And you would be surprised at the workouts that's going on behind the curtain before the wrestler goes to the ring.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Trying to get their body limbered up and warmed up.
Oh, absolutely. And you came in as a referee? Is that your history?
That's my history as a referee. Jimmy Valiant, me and Jimmy Valiant, the Boogie Woogie Man from New York City.
Mm-hmm.
He was, of course, everybody knows him, but he was we was good friends, and he was working the show, and I was there. And he wanted me to referee the match. I actually borrowed a referee shirt. I borrowed black pants from another guy.
Wow.
He said he's got some pants that you can wear and all this, so I done that, and it was with one of the Masked Assassins. So that was the start of my referee
And the
career.
year, would you say, roughly?
96, 97
Wow.
is when I actually started.
Wow.
So, and then this past year, I've worked shows with. I don't do much now because I don't have time.
Right.
I work my shoot job. I work at a community college, and I'm picky about who I work for now.
Sure.
Independent stuff is. I'm not going to put my life on the line for $20 a night.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And the referee is an important role in the match.
Absolutely.
You have a bad referee, you're gonna have a bad match.
Absolutely.
So I'm picky. I've worked a couple shows this past year with Jim Cornette, and traveling from Texas and back in North Carolina and different places. So I'm picky about where I work now, but I work some.
That's great. That's good. That's great. Do you have a favorite wrestler that you liked working with?
I know
they're all great.
I've worked with so many. You know, working with Jim Cornette as a manager, him being a manager, is really, really awesome. Now, that's you get your workout in the ring working with him. Jimmy Valiant, I would have to say Jimmy Valiant, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be sitting here today.
Wow.
And him and me have worked all over the United States. We've had a really great time.
Great.
A lot of times when people sitting in the back going over their match, he'll look at me and say, "Oh, brother, don't worry about it. We'll do it. We'll call it in the ring."
Wow. So you never had any formal training as a referee. You were a fan who got kind of thrusted into the referee position.
Yeah, and then after I'd done that one match, then Jimmy, he started coaching me and telling me this and telling me that and learning to take bumps and stuff like that. So yeah, that's when it all.
And referees of today, do they have to go to wrestling school to become a referee? Like, if I wanted to be a referee, do I have to go to wrestling school, or do I just?
You need to. I see independent shows where they take people like they done me, but they take people that don't have a clue about it, and you really need to know. There's a whole lot more to being a referee than just standing in the ring and counting three.
Right.
And it's really interesting. And I think you need to go find a school somewhere. So you got to learn to take bumps.
Sure, yeah.
You've got to be in physical shape. I was smoking.
Oh, yeah.
I was smoking 2 years ago. I was smoking 3 packs of cigarettes a day.
Wow.
3 packs a day. I could not walk across this beautiful studio without being short of breath.
Yeah.
And so I started vaping, but within 8 hours, I started breathing better. I couldn't even breathe hardly. So you got to be in shape. I mean, it's just as physically
Well, just
demanding.
the fact that you got to stay out of the way of these guys throwing each other around the ring.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you get caught in the wrong spot, you're getting taken out, and that's real.
And you're really hurt.
Exactly.
You get a 300-plus pound guy thrown into you at speed. That's gonna hurt.
I was working a show, and some stuff took place, and I didn't know about it, and actually they didn't know about it. It was a total accident. But my back whipped between the top rope and the middle rope, and now I have to go get shots in the small of my back. My L5 S1 disc is bulging.
Ooh.
And it come from that. So and I'm just a referee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't come from being body slammed or pile drived on the concrete. It come from an accident in the ring.
Right.
Well, if you think about it, a lot of the injuries come from something going wrong. Mm-hmm. You know, if they do it, but it's impossible for everything to go perfectly because it's just you're not rehearsing it 20 times before you do it. I mean, granted, you're in there all the time, but a lot of this stuff they're calling on the fly.
Right.
And if they're just a few inches off left or right or something, that's the difference between getting up and going on to the next move or I got to go to the hospital.
Right.
You know,
and if the crowd is loud or if the crowd is quiet.
Yeah.
And you tell me a spot, and right when you tell me that spot, when you're whipping me off the rope, if the crowd is screaming and I don't hear it, we're getting ready to have a problem.
Yeah.
Something's fixing to happen.
Yeah.
And stuff does get confused.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you might tell me one thing and I hear something else. And then we got problems.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, we are excited to have you on the show. So in typical Staying Up with Pat and Jodi format, we are not talking about guys we fucked.
Yeah. Your favorite new podcast.
Hey, I've been advertising for them. They need some commission from me.
I know.
I've been telling everybody in Vegas about that. You know,
About that show, and at the Cauliflower Alley
And you know
Club,
what's strange is that show should be coming from Vegas just based on the
Yeah.
content, but they're not out of Vegas.
Jerry, there really is a podcast. It has huge numbers.
Two slutty girls.
Two slutty girls who are self-professed slutty girls, and they have a podcast. And seriously, it's on SoundCloud. Look it up, guys. We fucked.
And it's pretty
Well, I
much
don't know
just
why I
sexual
whisper
content.
when I say, guys.
I don't. Yeah, we say it all the time, so it's not like the FCC is going to come in and fine us for profanity.
Exactly.
I told one guy about Todd Thompson, a good member of the CAC, life member of the CAC. I told him about the guys we fucked clip. And I said, it's a couple of girls. And he looked at me. He said, oh, I thought Pat Patterson had started something new.
Boom, boom. That's awesome.
Oh,
now
that's
a podcast.
That's right.
I can't wait to hear the woo.
Yeah, that's where the woo came from.
There you go. There you go.
Pick this up. Woo!
Yep.
Don't drop the soap. Woo! All right, so boys.
Notice how that took a sharp left turn that quickly?
Real quick.
Real quick.
All right, so boys, I don't know if you know this, but right now we are on baby watch, and it's not mine.
Thank God. It's not mine, even though it looks like I'm about 7 months in.
We have the royal baby number 2.
Numero dos.
Is about to be born any day now, and we don't know if it's a boy or a girl. And they're hoping that the royal baby will be born somewhere around the Queen's birthday. The great grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, who passed away. So they're hoping that the newborn baby's birthday is around April 21st. So do we have any bets going?
I don't
boy,
really.
girl. What do you think? Boy, girl.
I don't really care. Does that sound bad? I don't really care.
Royal baby.
I'm going to say it's going to be a girl.
Yeah, we all hope it's a girl because we haven't had a girl.
You know what my guess is?
What?
It's going to be a rich kid.
Bingo.
There you go.
Bingo.
See?
Woo!
My odds are pretty good. Yours are 50-50. I bet mine are much higher.
I guarantee it are. They are.
They're saying that as for what the baby will be called, many are betting on one quaint sounding name, Alice.
Alice.
They're hoping that they name the baby Alice, Princess Alice. So that's.
Okay.
And they're saying that Kate has been giving hints in her final appearance as she greets the people of England. She has been wearing bright pink for her final appearances.
But, not to use a wrestling term, but that could be a total swerve. And it could be,
What a work.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll have to keep you posted on the royal baby watch.
Baby watch.
I'm with Morgan. I hope it's a girl.
Well, my theory behind that, she's more of a dominant in the couple's relationship.
Uh-huh.
To me, she's more of a dominant looking person than he is.
Princess Kate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm going with her.
Okay. And I'm surprised they wouldn't name the baby, but I guess it would be controversy to name her Diana. I think a lot of people would hope that Diana would be the name, except for Queen Elizabeth. She'd be like, no way.
Diana was a special woman over there.
She was.
Really was.
She was.
All over the world.
But there were a lot of people that didn't like her. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
That because she kind of did her own thing, which we applaud and we go, hey, that's a great deal that's great that she's doing that, and it's great. But unfortunately, they don't look at it that way. You know,
that whole gamut of stuff is. I mean, it's like Jodi reading off that piece of paper now. Over there, you got to do this, you got to do that when you're in the public eye.
Yeah. And they didn't like her style.
Yeah, they didn't like her style, and they didn't like her being herself.
Right, and she overshadowed many of them.
Right.
And now what a difference like all these years make. Charles is with Camilla. She was the bad guy. Just the Queen is beloved again. It's just so strange how I guess they say time heals all wounds.
Right.
So interesting.
For some people, other people don't forget.
Yeah. Yep.
We all know those people.
So now you're leaving in a few days, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so make sure when you leave the plane that your pilot checks the cargo hold. I don't know if you did you hear about this? This just happened. A Los Angeles-bound Alaska Airlines flight made an emergency landing at a Seattle airport on Monday after it took off because a worker got trapped in the cargo area.
And how did he get trapped? He fell asleep. He was taking a nap in the cargo bay, and they closed it on him. And he didn't even wake up until the plane took off. So they started up the engines, they taxied, they did all that. He must be one hell of a heavy sleeper.
It's got to be, but it was also in the middle of a shift change too, I believe.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And they said he called. I've read two reports. They heard banging. People said they heard banging. How could they hear banging? It's so loud. The plane is so loud.
There is, and I don't think that there's just one little piece of there's got to be some level of insulation or separation between the cargo area, and there's ways to get down into the cargo area from the passenger area. Yeah. So I'm not sure how that all came about, but they said they heard. Maybe they just heard banging, and they were like, "What's going on?"
People said they heard screaming.
If it had been me, they'd have heard more than banging. I guarantee you that.
Well, because you can, if depending on if it's, they have cargo areas where they transport animals that are pressurized and controlled. But if it's standard cargo, you could die in there.
No, they said
oxygen deprivation.
They said it was. They claim it was pressurized.
Yeah.
So
it was in the front part of the cargo area, and they did say it was
okay. So
how do you just? I mean, seriously, like. In a cargo hold of a plane, you fall asleep?
Apparently.
Really?
I have to imagine this wasn't the first time that this has happened. I'm just going to guess, and I'm going to say that this is former airline employee that got caught in a cargo. Because I have a feeling that he don't work there no more. Because if you get caught, if you get caught sleeping on the job, it's one thing. If you get caught sleeping on the job and they have to divert a flight because your dumbass fell asleep in a cargo hold, I think you're in a little bit of trouble.
I could think of more comfortable places to fall asleep at work than the cargo hold
but you never know.
Of an active plane.
They could have had like a nice little comfy area laid out where they had some blankets there or something. These guys have this set up, and he's like, you know what? Yeah, this plane it's all set. I'm going to catch a few Z's here and just out.
Well, I think his coworkers was pissed off at him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And they locked him in on purpose?
You think about it.
How would they not know he's in there?
Somebody was putting the luggage on the conveyor system.
Oh,
yeah.
So if I'm putting the luggage on there, I know you're up there getting it, doing something with it.
Yeah.
So when I get through, I wait on you to get out.
And they don't put the luggage in an hour before the flight leaves. They're putting it in just before the flight leaves. So it's not like they put all the luggage in and said, we got a half hour to kill.
Yeah.
And it's not exactly the most quiet and calming atmosphere.
Well, we don't know.
We don't know a lot of banging and clanging and
when the
noise.
Stuff's going in, but afterwards it may not be that bad.
Well, if he fell asleep as the stuff is going in, he fell asleep as the stuff that didn't wake him up. I mean, he had to be one hell of a sound sleeper.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, if it was if the plane was sold out or even a third sold out, and you know yourself now, there's not many empty planes flying.
No.
All those people walking, slamming the overhead compartments, that's loud as shit anyway.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. So now, would you fly with a pilot who's 95 years old? If you knew your pilot was 95, would you? If you were greeted by your pilot and you saw that he was really old?
If he was 95 years old, he better look like he's 65 years old.
Yeah.
Because then I wouldn't worry as much. But if he looked 95, I might worry.
Well, a 95-year-old Northern California man has become the world's oldest active pilot.
Wow.
Yep. He just set a Guinness Book of World Records. He confirmed his last flight last month. His name is Peter Weber Jr. And Weber was 95 years old, 4 months and 23 days old when he flew 3 looping circles around an airfield near Sacramento on March 30th.
Okay, so he's just flying. He's just hopping in a plane and flying. He's not flying a passenger jet. He's not like on a MD-80 or something like that, flying people to San Francisco.
No, but we all saw the movie Airplane. With Robert Hayes, and we saw what happened to all those people underdone. What if this old man had to fly? What if he had to fly the plane?
You're really using the movie Airplane as an example of something that could be done happen in real life.
You know, I live in a world where I think television is real.
And you've worked in television for years.
Well, that was different kind of television.
that was a talk show.
Like this.
Like this.
No, but seriously, what if, God forbid, something happened to a plane? And well, nowadays you can't get in the cockpit. We all know that. Yeah. You know, unfortunately.
And most modern jetliners can actually be landed without a pilot.
They have
automatically.
Yes, autopilot. I saw airplane.
It's beyond autopilot.
I saw airplane. I saw that little thing that reached over and grabbed.
Yeah, that's right. The blow up doll. I want one of those for the house, just to mess with people when they come over.
Well, we already
know. All of a sudden you're sitting there watching TV and the blow up pilot comes up, sitting next to you watching TV. You know what I'm saying?
Jerry,
yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Jerry's here, not Jerry Briscoe, the other Jerry.
The other Jerry.
he had to leave Jerry Briscoe's speech too. He was there. He's like, oh my God! But we already know that you can take a blow up or a cardboard cutout and put him in the driver's lane. We talked about that guy.
And get a ticket.
So why not a rubber doll?
Why not? That'd be interesting.
We haven't had a rubber doll ever at a Cauliflower Alley Club party, have we?
Are you suggesting something?
Maybe next year.
Yeah, I think maybe we find a rubber doll that looks like one of the wrestlers and put a little speaker next to it that's hidden away and have the voice of the actual wrestler come out of that speaker and talk to people as they come by. I don't know. Then maybe that's wrong, but you know, they come up and they start looking at it, and all of a sudden it starts talking to them.
You know what?
With a motion sensor.
With a motion,
yes.
And you have the person watching through a little camera so they could see what color shirt they're wearing, if it's a guy or girl. So, and they can hear what they're saying.
Oh my gosh, this is going crazy.
That would be I'm just thinking hidden camera.
But you know what I'm thinking?
That would be fun.
It would.
You know what would be funny? The rubber doll is the Cauliflower Alley Club Kane. You know how Kane came out at WWE when Mr. T was talking?
Yeah.
We drop a rubber doll down from the ceiling when somebody's speech is going a little too long.
That means that's the get off the stage sign.
No, it's not going to work. Sorry. Okay, bring it back.
He didn't come out this year, but it was that with the WWE Hall of Fame was a long affair.
Oh, did you see the WWE Hall of Fame?
It was over 4 hours.
Yeah.
Oh my God. We talk about. I know you can't, but we talk about poor Larry Zbyszko's speech. We thought it was a 40-minute.
We thought it was at least 40 minutes. It was only 18, but it felt like 40.
Yeah.
It was, but he just got up there and just completely lost it. You know, and the one thing that we were happy, everybody had to be happy about, was when Lanny got up there, a good friend of ours, Lanny Poffo, and did a great 8-minute in and out, did his poem, little story in the middle, closing with a poem, out.
Well,
Just
there was a lot of talk on the internet before the Hall of Fame that Lanny wasn't going to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was really glad to see him come out and make that speech.
Yeah, us too.
I really was.
Yeah, and it really was kind of Lanny's final decision that made it happen, because Randy's wishes were originally to have the entire family go in or nothing.
Right.
But it was when Randy was thinking that because he felt that the whole family should go in, but Lanny looked at it as, you know what? His fans deserve to have him in there.
Yeah.
And, you know, we all say that he should have been in there a long time ago.
Right.
So he's like, you know what, this is more because he loved his fans. Randy loved his fans and was very good with his fans, and he really wanted him in there. And we were very excited and proud of what Lanny did and what he did on stage. You know, he was a great representation or representative of his family.
We were so excited.
Yeah. You know.
Well, I'm real good friends with Ricky Steamboat.
Yes.
And everybody knows Ricky Steamboat and the Macho Man Savage match.
Yes.
That's what everybody remembers him by. Ricky lived in Charlotte, North Carolina, up until several years ago. And he moved to Florida because he was working with the NXT group at the facility down there. Macho Man, when he had his wreck and hit that tree and died, every day that Ricky Steamboat he moves to Florida now and is down there with Macho and all this, every day now he drives by that tree to go to the gym to work out.
Yeah, it's got to be.
And he said
tough.
he told me that he's actually stopped on the side of the road and walked up to that tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But every day he drives by that same tree.
Wow. Yeah, and they're forever connected.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No doubt.
That was
no
the
doubt.
that was a great little run they had there. So, all right. So, are you guys fed up with some people's posts on Facebook? Well, I just pulled this story. A fed up Facebook friends to mom. Stop posting baby pictures. So what is a Facebook friend? So we got to talk, let's talk about this. What is a Facebook friend? A Facebook friend is someone who enjoys being associated with you in public, but might privately think that you're an unbearable windbag who deserves nothing more than eternal misery, which they'd like to witness on Facebook. Am I right?
Yeah, that's definitely
I mean, come on, you don't friend people. You particularly don't friend people that you don't know.
Yeah, I get friends requests all the time, and I'm like, who the hell is this? You know, and you look at the friends in common, but a lot of times they just send friend requests to the same people, and it's like, I've never met you before. I don't know. And every once in a while, I go through my list, and if I look at your picture and I have no idea who you are, and I can't make the connection, because it's just there's nothing there. I don't know you. You know, there's no connection professionally. I have a lot of people that are friends that I've never even met, but we're connected professionally.
Right.
Well, Morgan must get slammed.
I do. I really do. And I don't have a fan page.
Yeah.
Right.
I've got just a regular page. But I'm not. My Facebook page is people I know. I've got like 700 friends on my Facebook page. And I can tell you probably a lot about 95% of them.
Wow.
That's good.
That's
I mean,
awesome.
now I have friend requests in my file.
Sure.
You have to scroll down because I don't know these people.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. I'm the same situation.
And I don't want to be friends with a telemarketer in Timbuktu.
Agree.
Yeah.
Agree.
I get a lot of those on LinkedIn more than I do Facebook. My LinkedIn profile, I get a lot of people that's like, I'm just going to get spam from this. And every once in a while I go, well, let me try it. And I click accept, and the next thing I get is spam messages.
You regret it within minutes.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, really?
Well, you know, I always feel good when I drop a Facebook friend.
That's right.
This time I was dropped, but I'm not going to say anything. Patsy, somebody dropped me. Let's just say they don't appreciate my humor or my brown butter cookies, but that's all right. That's whatever. But the only reason why I bring this thing up with the baby thing is because there's this woman who's a new mom. She lives in Perth, Australia, and like many new moms, she likes to post Facebook updates about her baby Addie. Lots of Facebook updates about her baby Addie. It seems though that her Facebook friends have finally said enough with Addie. And somebody posted anonymously, busybody or everybody sent her a prissy note to tell her to stop. And it began, this is how the note read, okay?
So they sent her a note, not a post on Facebook, because it's hard to do.
Well, it said her note. It says just sent her a prissy note to tell her to stop already. It began, I have got over together with a few of the girls, and we are all so over your running commentary on your life and every single thing Addie does. So they're so over her posting about Addie.
This is probably the first kid, and this is probably like hourly updates on how cute the kid is.
Right, and it didn't get better. Look, we all have kids that we are bested with. Guess what? Bestowed with. God, I'm sorry. It's been a long night. Jerry Briscoe's still speaking. I got to get over there too. Lack of sleep because of Jerry, and not that way. Well, guess what? Every parent thinks their kid is the best ever, but we don't want it to ram down everybody else's neck. So her friends got pissed off that she's busy posting about her baby. Well, it got me thinking. I post all the time about my parties. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but the people want to tell me to shut the hell up.
Oh, I'll guarantee you there's people that probably go look at it and go, oh, not another party.
Not
what
another
are you
one.
Yeah, this just happened. Who cares? You know?
This just happened. Who cares?
You know? Anytime you do it, granted, you do a lot of parties.
Then just drop me as a friend.
That's right.
You don't like it, get over it. What do you think of that whole situation with the baby pictures? People are happy.
It's their Facebook page.
Yeah.
If they can put what they want on it, if I don't like it, I can get off their Facebook page.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Well, and you can also unfollow as instead of unfriend somebody. Right. You can do it to where you're not getting their hourly pictures on there. You just go in, instead of unfriending them, you just unfollow, so you're not constantly seeing the pictures. Because people do that with their dogs too. You know, like we're dog people. We love our dogs, and we put pictures of our dogs up. It's not an hourly process. And look, our dogs are pretty damn cute.
Chingo.
So they're
Champ and Bingo.
I hate to say it,
Chingo.
They're friggin' adorable. But you know, we give it just enough for people to go, oh, and then, okay, we'll give you a few days or a week off, and then we'll post something cute later.
If you have a baby, you're proud. You know,
absolutely. Especially the first one. Think about it, and everybody knows which baby has the most pictures of it. The first one. If you're baby number 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, they're like, I can't find anything of you from the 5th grade. It's like, because we didn't take anything of you. We know what you look like.
You're right.
So, Pat, being the third child.
Look for the school.
Being the third child, there are very few pictures of you.
Believe it or not, there were still a lot of pictures of me, and again, just because I was adorable. You know, so, you know, that helped.
Oh, my God.
What happened?
You know, exactly. I just used it all up early. You know,
there you go.
I just said I'm gonna front load all the cuteness, and then after that, who knows? You know, I got married, and after that, I said, what do I need it for anymore?
Exactly.
You know, I'm done.
There you go. Do you have children?
No.
Oh, not that you know of.
None that I pay taxes on.
So it doesn't annoy you when your friends are, you know, we have a lot of colleagues now that are at that age where they are having children. And I really look forward to seeing little baby Yoshino.
Yeah, and I mean, I see pictures of the pets. Yeah. Your children.
That's right.
Children, my 4.
And, you know, several friends on my Facebook account, they like different things. And if that's their hobby and that's what they like to, that's their thing, you know.
Yeah.
And
proud of your kids.
Yeah.
You know what? You're a friend. You're a friend to somebody, and you support your friend. If your friend is taking pictures of their dog, you're happy. You know, hey, listen, when our pets pass away or a loved one passes away, it's comforting to get those little notes from your friends saying, I'm so sorry, if there's anything I could do for you. I mean, it means a lot to have that. If
they're a true friend, you should have something in common with them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I agree. Absolutely.
Whereas a Facebook friend, we just have a friend in common. So it's just, we're friends of a friend, and it's just like, okay. Yeah.
That's why it doesn't really break my heart, like when I defriend somebody on Facebook, you know, when I'm just over it.
Because usually it means they weren't a real friend anyway. They were just somebody who wanted to see what you were doing.
Exactly. And vice versa. They feel the same way about me if they've defriended me, that they're really not truly a friend or, you know, whatever. So, and that's fine. And life goes on. There are worse problems in the world, and life goes on.
Yeah.
So I see that you pulled up something about our friends from the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
One of your favorite
watch
shows.
That show?
Excuse me. I've watched it when commercials come on a different show, just thumbing through the channel.
Yeah, just flip it through.
I did see the news on that last night.
Yeah, Kim Richards got busted for, you know, Kim Richards, I don't drink, I'm not, you know, there was a whole season about Kim Richards this year. I won't get too much because Pat and Morgan don't watch Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and probably Mike Walter doesn't watch Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. We always pick on Mike.
Mike, you could send us a message and say you support me on this, right?
He will. If he made it this far.
Housewives, nah, he didn't never. As soon as we started talking wrestling, we lost
Mike.
Had we started the show off with a little Prince, we might have been able to keep him for a bit, but he'll never get this far into it. So we could say whatever the hell we want about him, or he won't. He'll never know.
Yeah, he
checked out a long time ago.
He checked out a long, but he might be back because I did mention Baby Yoshino.
We have to send him a link to this point in the show, and then he'll be okay.
And then he'll be okay. Yeah. Exactly.
Well, hey, he should have come to the wrestling shows Sunday night and Monday night at the Gold Coast Casino because Chris Christopherson was there.
There you go.
That's right, because his son Jodi Christopherson is a wrestler.
And I had the opportunity to go tomorrow, Friday night. I had the opportunity to go to L.A. and manage his son in a wrestling match.
Oh.
I declined it because
you're here.
I'm here.
Yeah. And it doesn't seem like a lot, but it's quite a bit. Shooting out to L.A. and back for a day. We've done it, trust me.
Oh, yeah. Now, rumor has it that Jodi Christopherson was supposed to be part of the Bray Wyatt thing when he was under developmental. That's rumor. Just a rumor.
And that he didn't quite make the cut.
Yeah.
But that happens, and we know a couple people who went through developmental and then just kind of went to either indie, back to indie,
or disappeared totally.
Totally. Yeah, and it does happen. Not everybody has what it takes.
That's right.
It's just not an easy thing to do because it includes so many different aspects in order to become successful in the sport. You got to be an entertainer, an athlete, a stuntman, an MC. A pimp with a strong pimp hand. Oh, no, that's something else.
Hey, that's how Victoria got her start. She was a Godfather hoe.
That's right.
And she was proud of it. So I just threw something.
I like Victoria.
Yeah, she's beautiful in person. She's stunning.
Yeah.
She's stunning. And she's super successful with her restaurant in Chicago. And Gail Kim is married to Gail Kim from TNA.
To a chef.
Yeah, to a chef that she met on Dinner Impossible, I think it was. Yeah, those girls look amazing. They could still rock. They could still kick butt, too.
And I pitched the idea this week to Jimmy Hart, telling him he needs to get Hulk Hogan out here to the CAC reunion.
Yeah, so, good luck on that one.
Exactly.
Just like Mrs. Otta trying to get The Rock, because she mentioned Dwayne.
Yeah.
The only challenge with somebody at that level is it completely changes the what you have to do, because security-wise, these are not people that can walk through a public area unescorted. They can't, and they would literally create chaos.
Exactly right.
The Hulk or The Rock or and both who are pop culture crossovers, and The Rock is a huge movie star now, so there's people I've never seen him wrestle, and that creates a whole different, issue with putting together an event when you have somebody at that level. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Gosh,
sneaking in the back.
It's hard getting people not to sneak into your banquet now. I can only imagine.
And we, on a situation like that, they would not be announced months in advance.
Oh
yeah,
it wouldn't even.
It would just be a surprise.
They would just appear.
Yeah, I agree.
Because then you get paparazzi showing up. You get all kinds of stuff. People trying to sneak in through the back and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. They have to just kind of be because, if we announce them, a lot of people. A lot of the wrong people will show up too.
Right, and you got to remember, a lot of celebrities, and it's always on TMZ. A lot of celebrities even get stalked by crazy people out there. So you got to be so careful.
They do.
Yes, they do.
I've never heard of stories like that happening.
Sandra Bullock just had a big thing. Madonna, I think Sandra Bullock ran into she had a safe room built in her house and called the police from a safe room in her house because a guy was trespassing in her mansion.
Yep. It does happen.
Yeah, it does happen. So did you see that? I just sent you this headline. What do you think of this?
My girl, Sofia Vergara's ex-fiance, and I love Sofia Vergara.
You do. He watches Modern Family all the time.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, calm down. There, you're starting to drool.
That's some curves on that one. I guess her ex-fiance has filed a lawsuit to stop the destruction of frozen embryos made during their engagement. So obviously they had plans for children because apparently Sofia has challenges getting pregnant. Mm-hmm. And this was probably obviously something that they did to try and because I think the child that she's carrying now was artificial insemination, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I have to read it. But there is a lawsuit because I guess she's saying, well, I'm not with him anymore, so we want to, and he doesn't want those destroyed because I guess part of that is him.
Right. Well, and her together. I mean, the two of them together. And now she's with Joe Magnatello. What's his name? Joe? You know the one I'm talking about.
I just want to hear you try and pronounce his name. I just think it's great.
Morgan, help me out. You got the accent. You know the guy I'm talking about from Magic Mike. Come on, Jerry. Joe Manganiello? Joe Magnatello?
Magnatello?
No, Manganiello.
Magnatello?
Right here. Joe Manganiello.
Uh-huh.
Joe Manganiello. Now, you think Sofia Vergara is a nice-looking woman. I'm going to see Magic Mike 2, and it ain't for Kevin Nash. Or Ric Flair. I heard they're both in the movie.
Woo! Really?
Yeah. Ric Flair's in it, and, Kevin Nash plays a stripper.
I hope Ric Flair is just playing like a club owner or something, because we all seen him with his shirt off. We don't need to see that anymore. I think we're good with that.
Yeah, but imagine. Do you think as a man? If you were with some, how do you boys feel about this whole situation?
I think it's kind of a challenge because it is something that the whole purpose of them doing that was to create a life, and now that the relationship is gone, first off, the legal aspects of it have to be just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because of all the implications, they're not together anymore. But then there was an original, all these issues they have to deal with. But ultimately, at some point, they could say, "Well, I really want this child." But now you have somebody you're bringing back into your life that you thought you got rid of, because that child, just like any other child, connects the two of you for the rest of your lives.
Exactly. I don't know how that would be settled in court, but that's a headache.
I would not want to be on that end of it.
No,
because the implications there are just crazy.
Yes,
just crazy. Because who knows how what kind of relationship they have as far as now, if it was an ugly divorce or split up, not the breakup, because they were engaged, they weren't married.
Yep.
But and she doesn't have didn't she have another child when she was younger?
She did. Yeah, I think her son's like 18 or something. Yeah. Like he's an adult.
Yeah, because she's in her early 40s.
She looks great.
Early mid 40s, but she looks fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah,
not really as fantastic as what are you looking at?
Paris Hilton is just I guess Paris Hilton is tired of not being in the limelight, so she's doing some racy photos. There's it says Paris Hilton has finally hit it big on the music scene.
She was DJing, by the way.
I know. Hit it big. I mean, unless she drives her car into a speaker, I don't know what she's hitting big in the music, because her stuff that she had a song that she released a few years back that was well produced. It was kind of catchy, but it was you could listen to it and tell that she cannot sing to save her life, and they just electronically made it happen. And she has no personality whatsoever. She's an attractive girl. She keeps herself in good shape. But boy, have you ever heard her in an interview?
Yes.
About
paint drying is more exciting than. I can go back to listen to Jerry Briscoe's speech.
So the picture this is here. This is, and I'll share this with you. That's the only way she makes herself exciting, and you can't see
exactly
this.
Right.
So by her stripping down and showing off some skin, that's about the only way Paris Hilton can make herself exciting, because she is just a dullard.
She had money when she was a baby.
Yeah,
right.
And
this is all for attention.
That's all it is. But
this is all look at me, because let's face it, she does come from the Hilton family.
Who,
She's
by the
got
way,
a few bucks.
The drunk Kim Richards, the girl that got arrested, is part Hilton.
Oh, she is a part Hilton.
Yeah, her sister is Kathy Hilton, who is the mother of Paris.
Wow.
So the Kim Richards from The Real Housewives.
So that's why she's Housewives of Beverly Hills. That's how she got to the Beverly Hills part.
Well, she was also very famous in Nanny and the Professor. She played the little girl in Nanny and the Professor. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not know that.
I think her name was Prudence.
Yeah, I remember the show from when I was a kid. It
Richard
was a rerun.
Long was the professor. Juliette Mills was Nanny.
Okay, now if you kind of look at it, I kind of see. I can kind of recognize it.
Yeah, she was the little girl. And Return to Witch Mountain. I was never a Disney kid growing up. I didn't watch any of those.
I did.
They were boring. Bed knobs and broomsticks and
but
chitty bang bang.
You remember the names to them, but you just didn't like them.
I just know the names of the films because I did not go and watch them.
Yeah.
I would rather want to watch a disco flick, Saturday Night Fever, or Easy Rider.
Plus your dad. Well, but those movies are all should be all teenage stuff. The Disney stuff and all those should all be preteen stuff.
I hated going to the movies as a kid because there was never anything good. Maybe back in my mom and dad's age or our parents' age,
right.
they were going to the movies seeing the Little Rascals and things like that back in the day.
Yeah. Well, Little Rascals was even before our parents' day. Little Rascals, they were in the theaters in the 30s and 40s.
Superman was TV. George Reeves.
Yeah, that was in the 50s.
Right, but
so
that was TV.
Yeah, that would have been our parents would have been kids in the 50s. So, yeah, they would have seen that on TV. And we grew up with that ourselves because we were a generation that grew up with syndication.
Right.
The thing is now a lot of the kids don't see these shows now because there's so much more content now that they're not watching reruns of The Addams Family and Gilligan's Island
I Dream of Jeannie.
and I Dream of Jeannie, but they're also not watching stuff that we grew up with that was way before our time, which is Little Rascals, Three Stooges, Laurel and Hardy. Laurel and Hardy, I mean, those guys, they were performers in the 20s.
Yeah.
They were talkies to them were a new thing.
And see, when I grew up, we had 3 or 4 TV channels.
That's
yes.
it. Yeah,
now you've got God knows how many.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, any cable system, satellite, you're gonna, and you know the basic, not the basic, but the upgraded packages are all over 200 channels.
Yeah,
and still nothing to watch.
I love The Walking Dead, and by the way, there's no Walking Dead update today because there's really no Walking Dead until October or until the summer when we see Fear the Walking Dead. But I can't even tell you what channel it's on, or Monday Night Raw.
Right.
I can't tell you what channel USA Network is. But back in the day, I knew, what channel ABC was, CBS, 5.
Right.
I can tell you, even my HBO back in the day. But now I have no idea. I'm like, Pat, what channel is, even my HBO, I'm like, I think it's in the 1800s.
Yeah, it's 1800s. We know starts at 1802 and goes up,
But I couldn't tell you USA Network. I could not tell you. And I watch Monday Night Raw every Monday night, and I could not tell you what channel it's on here in Vegas.
Well, because it's not just all the channels, it's also SD and HD versions of the channels. So you have the channels duplicated. So now you have to figure out, because channel 3 is the standard definition version on ours, and channel 1003 is the HD version. So now you have to, and not all channels that are SD are HD, and not all channels that are HD are an SD.
Yeah.
Oh boy, it gets confusing.
But back in the day, I could tell you Welcome Back Kotter was on, channel 7 on Thursday nights at 8 o'clock.
Right.
Barney Miller, 9:30 on channel 7, MASH, channel 2, Monday nights at 9 o'clock. I could tell you that, but I couldn't tell you now.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot more, but there's a lot more stimulus and a lot more content being thrown just at the at the population in general. There's so many different ways that we get information now instantly. If we're looking at several right now, I have a laptop and we have our smartphones, and and we're being thrown information constantly. That, let's face it, 20 years ago, if you wanted to find something out, you had to go to the library, you had to research. Yep. Now I just Google it.
Yeah.
I just get on my phone.
And
what was the name of that actor again? I don't know. Let's look it up. What was that movie? Oh, let's look it up.
I don't Google anything. I just ask my wife.
You just ask your wife, and she knows it all. She knows it all?
She knows it all.
So we got to get her on Jeopardy is what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah. I was sitting at Cauliflower Alley. Perfect example. Wes Briscoe, the son, gets the Future Legends Award. No offense to Mr. Briscoe, I never heard of Wes. So what did I do? I took out my phone and I Googled Wes Briscoe, and now I know a little bit about who he is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. You could just sit there and go, oh, there is Rock Riddle. I wonder how old Rock Riddle is. You go on Google. Wow, the guy is 70-something years old.
You watching TV or listening
that needs to be updated. He's about 183.
Nice, good. But you're listening to a radio show like ours, or you're watching TV and you see somebody interviewed and you're being, wow, that's really interesting. Oh, I didn't know they're in that. Who is this person? And you can look up and find out their whole history. And it's good and bad. I mean, to me, I love being able to do that. I mean, I even do things like, we could be out at a racetrack and we're trying to set up a motorcycle, and we need to know how much suspension travel the thing has in order to set it up right, and all this stuff going on. This is really geeky stuff, but you go on and just go on to the Google and you find out and you say, oh, it's got, this many millimeter. Okay, there you go. And you're like, so even the obscure stuff like that, that's only for motorcycle geeks, right there.
And even before smartphones, when the flip phones, I would write stuff down. I'd be somewhere and somebody asked something, whatever, I'd write it down. I'd go home, get on the old home computer, and Google it, and there it is.
Oh yeah, there it is.
It's just
it's amazing,
instantaneous. When we're trying to put things together, if we don't know, well, what's this person's? You just look it up online and figure it out, or where did they work? What was the name of the company that was before? You just go online because our whole lives are there now.
Oh, and there's a program. I'm not going to say it on the air, but if anybody wants to know, you can actually, like, when somebody emails you, there's a program that will link to their LinkedIn. So if somebody's BSing you and like, oh yeah, like I'm so and so. Well, you can tell if it's a phony person or a phony email, or it's really cool. Like this app that I found actually can break it down to like who the person is, where they work, if it's a legitimate person. It's pretty cool. It ties into their LinkedIn. So if they have a legitimate LinkedIn page, you'll know.
Because there's so many spoofs going on. I mean, I don't even answer my phone anymore if I don't know who it is. I got a phishing call today. You know, one of those ones that it's one of the crazy people that they act like you're in trouble, and if you don't call, they're gonna. And it's like, and it was obviously a guy with an Indian accent, and it's the phone number's from Missouri, and I looked it up, and it was a whole list of complaints on it. I'm like, I've gotten 3 of those, 3 different numbers in 3 days, and it's probably the same group of people.
So why don't you block it?
Oh, I do. But they're doing new numbers each time.
Oh, got it.
And it's an obvious recording because it starts mid-sentence in the recording. So it's like, and it's like this angry Indian guy trying to, my name is Officer. I'm like, yeah, sure it is.
Oh, gosh.
Sure it is. It's
all right. So, Morgan, before you leave, we have 10 must-dos while you're in Sin City.
10.
Oh.
10 must-dos for Morgan Dollar to do while he's here in Las Vegas, or anybody listening to the show can do while they're in Las Vegas. Number 1, hang out at a top optional pool club.
Topless pool.
No.
Check, done.
Do they have a topless pool at the Gold Coast?
No.
And by the way, you know, we do own sunglasses with an HD camera inside of them.
I do too.
Oh, do you?
Oh, do you?
Yeah, for my kayak.
The pivot head?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's called the pivot. Yeah, those things are great. You can't even tell.
Mine's camouflage.
Oh, yours is a camouflage? Yeah, it's probably the same company just because they sell them in different. So you know, see?
There you go. He's smart. He's a smart man. That's why he's the executive vice president.
That's right.
Executive director.
Executive vice president.
Vice president. Executive vice president. That's why he's the man.
He's the EVP.
of the CAC.
Of the CAC.
Wow, nice.
That's the start of a rap right there.
Dallas Page started that last year.
Oh,
The future EVP of the CAC.
Love it. Love it. All right, number 2. Food. They're telling you that you need to visit like a really cool restaurant. So while you're here, is there a restaurant, like a famous celebrity chef restaurant? We're not talking about Fridays down at the Gold Coast or like Giada's. That's
Never been there.
Oh my gosh, you should definitely try that out. The Cromwell.
it's right down the street.
Or
I'm not really into buffets, but
it's not a buffet.
I know, but I got to give a plug to it, and it's kind of y'all know the deal with the M Casino buffet.
Oh yeah, absolutely, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I guess you heard about the guy that
shot himself.
Yes.
But I love their buffet. That to me, that's the best buffet.
It is.
In the valley.
Oh, and it's fantastic. Yeah, because there's a few other ones that are really good, but they're way overpriced. Like the one at Caesar's Palace is fantastic, but it's $65.
Yeah. I can't eat $65 worth.
I tried to eat $65 worth of food. I was stuffed.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot of money for a buffet. But it's great food.
They have a good restaurant at the Tropicana. I can't think of the name.
Biscayne?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would I've ate there several times. I really enjoy that.
Well, good. Well, we're gonna. So you're gonna go do that. Have you taken a photo at the Welcome to Las Vegas sign yet?
No, and I have been coming to Vegas 11 or 12 years.
Yeah,
I have yet to do that.
Well,
there's even a
the
parking
trip.
lot there.
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah, you
and
should
see,
do
when
it.
I first started coming here, there wasn't a parking lot.
No,
there.
you had to park in that office across the street, run across Las Vegas Boulevard without dying,
right?
And then then take a picture.
You're laughing.
That's kind of a key point because if you get killed crossing the street, you're probably not going to get a picture, and if you do, it won't look right anyway.
Now,
exactly.
You know.
Now, what about
too bloody.
What about Fremont Street? Have you been down to Fremont Street
Love
yet?
Fremont Street.
I do too.
Yeah,
He's
cool.
not a big fan of the
whole
whole thing.
Sometimes I am.
I like the old Fremont Street.
Right.
I like, and when I say that, I say like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
It's getting too commercialized.
Yes. It's like Hollywood Boulevard in front of Mann's Theater.
It used to be you could go down there because we had the reunions back in 02 or 03 at the Plaza.
Yeah.
Which was great. You
That's
could walk
right.
out the Plaza, boom,
That's
there
right.
you was.
Yeah.
And it was all kind of isolated, not like the main strip out here.
Yeah.
And I like the old Vegas atmosphere back then, but they're modernizing it.
It's really has turned into a complete. It's almost like it's an adult theme park down there now. I will say this though, the Strip is really good too, but some of the best people watching ever. Because every type of freak you can imagine is walking through there, and all you got to do is find a spot to sit there, and it is just going to be nonstop entertainment.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And Jerry's sitting back here. He's not old enough to know this, but the light canopy show. When we first started coming here, it was real light bulbs, not LED lights.
The Fremont Experience show is talking about
how
that.
they changed, how they made those individual light bulbs do what it done before they put the LED lights in. That amazed me.
Yeah.
Just a regular light bulb.
It was just, they were actually, the first ones were LEDs, but they were a lot larger. They were big, and it was kind of like going from standard def to high definition. They was really simple, basic. It was all computerized like it is now, but it was, you know, much more basic that now they could do complete videos, just long, straight. So it is quite amazing what they did with it.
It really is.
Because I remember when they upgraded it, too, in the panels, it's like you're replacing 9 bulbs with like 100 and something.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was quite the upgrade when they did it. And it is an amazing show.
It is.
It is, and it's free.
Yeah,
it's a free show.
Free, and it's fun. I love it down there. I have a good time. The next tip I'm going to have for you, we're going to have to cut it short because we're almost at the point. But so I'm going to leave you with this one. Dance like a stripper.
Doesn't he do that anyway?
Yeah. We don't have dancing at Cauliflower Alley. Could you imagine if we did?
Yeah. Especially about 4 o'clock in the morning after everybody's been hanging out at the bar.
That's right. Yeah, that's party time all the time.
I think there should be a stripper pole at the bar too, because I think that would definitely help. I think a stripper pole and alcohol. There's nothing that can ever go wrong when you mix those two things together.
No.
You know.
So before we wrap it up, what can we expect next year? Next year we're already coming back to Vegas.
Coming back to Vegas.
Okay.
I can say we'll be at the Gold Coast.
Okay.
I can't say the dates because we had the dates. I signed the contract tomorrow.
Okay.
But the dates, the set has to be changed.
Okay.
And I've got to get with them tomorrow, and we got to renegotiate the contract.
Okay.
Which it ain't signed yet, so that's fine. Okay. And they're easy to work with. But originally, we didn't realize that the dates coincide with WrestleMania.
Oh, that's a problem.
Yeah, that could be.
Especially in Dallas. Yeah, that's huge. It's going to be big next year. So
we've got to move the dates around. But once I get all that done, it'll be on the website, caulifloweralleyclub.org.
Awesome. And Brian Blair announced Paul Orndorff, I heard, will be stopping by, and Jumpin' Jim Bronzell.
Yeah.
That's great.
And Abdullah the Butcher's making plans to attend.
We're still trying to get Lanny to show up, but he's just as stubborn as can be when it comes to that stuff. We told him Ox Baker doesn't show up anymore, so
that's right.
I think Ox Baker died.
That's why he doesn't show up.
Don't show up anymore.
That's why he doesn't show up. That was that kind of went wide over here. So
just wanted to confirm that.
Just in case you wondered, him and Ox Baker had a little issue, I guess, at some point. So
at some point,
I'm not going to elaborate. Lanny can talk to you about that, but
if you want to know,
we need to get Lanny down there so he can hang out with some of his boys. You know,
I'm
sure he'd know a few people.
They'd love. You guys would love to have him there. So we got to Lanny. Come on down to Vegas, hang out with us.
The CAC needs you, Lanny.
That's right, Lanny. And you get to visit us in Vegas. You know, it's a win-win.
Exactly.
We'll take you to the M Buffet.
Yeah,
you know,
nice.
We'll do a trip to the M Buffet just to top it off. It's like the icing on the cake right there.
That's right. And shout out before we say goodbye. I have to do a shout out to Malibu and Sharon. I am coming to New York. Yay! So anybody, it's May 30th through September 9th. I will be in New York, and if you'd like to see me personally, just go on my website,
so
Jodi
Stalkers,
Harris.
CEO of Fun Stalkers.
I am selling tickets. I am selling tickets. I'll be at the Beacon Theater, Club Cabernet. No, I'm only kidding. So Malibu and Sharon, don't make any plans. They listen to this show, so don't make any plans. We're going out. That's it.
Wow, that was really inside.
That was
really
inside.
Focused.
Well, Mike Walter, I might see Mike Walter.
That's true. You might, because he's in New Jersey.
He's in New Jersey. So with that, I'm signing off.
Right.
It was great. Thank you, Morgan.
Thank you so much, Morgan, for being on.
He's got to go back to the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
Jerry's got to be almost done with his speech by now.
So.
Yeah.
I've got closing statements I need to make.
He's up to 1995 right now, so it should be... Well, thank you so much for tuning in or watching. If you're on YouTube watching, Staying Up with Pat and Jodi, and we will see you again next week.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.